What's up everybody, Mythonix here for another weekly update. The next video was supposed to be Godhusk, and that is coming, but I've decided to work on something else first, something a bit more timely. So my deadline for the early access preview was the 3rd of January, about 2 days time from the time of writing, but I don't think I'll hit that. Still, these harsh deadlines are making me work faster and smarter than I was before, which is a real goal. Usually where I would be now after a video had finished, I would probably just be starting. But because of these deadlines are making me actually get into gear faster, I'm a lot further ahead than what I would usually be. Well, I'll tell you what the video is, because by the time this video now is public, the early access should be out, so everyone will know what it is anyway. I'm working on a video about the game MiSide, the very cute, spooky yandere anime game. It's fun, I really enjoyed it. It doesn't seem to have super deep lore, like not as deep as, obviously not as deep as Fear and Hunger, no game really is, other than like Dark Souls. But even something like No, I'm Not a Human, it's not as deep as that, but it'll be fun to dig a little and see what comes up. I have a couple of interesting ideas, but we'll see how we go. Right now, where it currently stands is I'm still planning the script. Ideally at this stage, at this time, I would have the script written and probably even recorded already. But I was unwell for a couple of days, and look, I don't want to, in the future, I don't want to use physical or mental illness as an excuse for videos not coming out on time. Not unless it's quite serious, you know, like if me or a family member aren't hospitalized, then it doesn't count, basically. And so what I have to do is I have to work hard while balancing everything. And that's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but that's the point. Is I want to be able to do this, and this is what I need to do if I want to do it. Simple as. Okay, so the update done. Now we're looking at my New Year's resolutions from last year, and after that, my resolutions for 2025. So my goals for 2024 were 100k views on each video within a week of uploading, 1 million views on a new video, diversity in content, 100 patrons, 10% CTR and 80% retention. So to help this, I put all of my most interesting data into a spreadsheet that you can actually look at yourself. I've linked it below. I put out 11 videos this year, which is really bad. That's less than a video a month. So this was mostly caused by the early videos taking a long time. I was working on the Logic video and really struggled. If you want to know why, see the last video, and eventually delayed it. So that was over the start of the year, over January and February. I was working on Logic, and then I couldn't get it to work. It was the Lagarde section, I remember in particular, I could not get it to work at all. And so I just dropped it, and then I went on to make, I believe it was Vermis, I ended up working on. And then I came back to work on Logic, and then I could get the Logic one out. And I actually changed around the Logic one quite a bit. I had to re-record the script and everything. But I did end up pretty happy with the result, and it was my best performing video up until that point, so I was quite pleased. And all the gaps in my video, in my video release dates are pretty much caused by the same thing, really. Now, I try and fit in a smaller video if I suspect I'm going to have a big gap like that. So anytime you see like a secrets video, that's basically that's when I'm struggling on a larger video and I just want to put something out. Vermis kind of was as well, because that was actually a really short turnaround time for me. I think that was, I want to say it was less than 2 weeks to make that, which at the time was pretty short turnaround. Not the shortest turnaround. I think my shortest was like 2 days with the secrets video. I think was my absolute shortest for main channel big videos. And at the first half of the year, I was also streaming and doing a lot more on the second channel at the same time. So I wasn't doing absolutely nothing, but the main channel is the focus. And honestly, I'm a little shocked at these gaps, and I'm shocked at how few videos I made. I thought I did a lot more. I honestly did. So, you know, my current plan to have these strict deadlines is part of the plan to make sure that doesn't happen again. No big gaps and more videos. I just need more videos coming out, right? There's no excuses. Like, I think I'm proud of the videos I've made, and I think they're good videos. I think basically all the ones I've made, I'm proud of the ones that I put out, but they shouldn't be taking that long. There's no reason that, especially like early in the year, there's no reason that a video should take like 3 months to put out. It shouldn't. Like that's not acceptable, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen again. I'm putting my foot down, right? It's done. It's done. So, okay, about the graph, I'd just like to note the tail section. That's the gap between the 1 and the 4 week stats. Realistically, the first month is when you get most of your views, and anything after that is what you consider the tail. But I didn't have another word for that gap, so I'm just calling it the tail. Ideally, you want videos with really long tails, so ones that are getting decent views a long time after you upload. For Fear and Hunger content, this actually has pretty good tails, particularly because Fear and Hunger was getting a lot of press that was in staggered amounts. So there was the Termina came out, and then it was a few months later that it was picked up by big creators. And then it was like, then there's every few months, there was like another big burst of attention on it. So like, you had, I think there was the first run of videos that was like Worm Girls one, and then there was another fellow who I can't remember who it was called, but he had a big video that was like, 1 million views in like a couple of weeks. That was about the game not long after it came out. And then you had the really big creators notice it, like Connor and Super Eye Patch Wolf, and so that kept it going for a while. And it's still really good. Like there's still a lot of attention on it. And then that translates to really long tails in the videos. There's always a trickle of people typing into the search bar, Fear and Hunger lore. What happens in Fear and Hunger? And my videos are coming up when they type that in. So compared to other games, it's still quite good. Like if you were to start a lore channel, just focus on Fear and Hunger lore now, you could probably do okay. I wouldn't recommend it because, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, I think Fear and Hunger is sort of trailing off a bit. And I don't think we're ever going to hit the heights that it did in the past, at least until Fear and Hunger 3 comes out in like 2030 or something like that. But yeah, so it's all this to say, Fear and Hunger has a very long tail. And so for a specific example, the Love and Torment video had, after a month, it had under 20,000 views, right, when that came out. But it's tripled since then, which is, well, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a 60,000 views on a year-old video isn't a crazy amount. But for at the time, actually, I don't think it was that good at the time either. Anyway, but it has a long tail. That's the point. So the new viewers stat is something that I forgot about when I originally wrote this script up, because I wrote this up about a week ago. And when I came back to it, now I had another look at it and I thought, oh, I'll add this stat in too, because it's really interesting to see. And the new viewers stat is simply how many new viewers a specific video brought in. Now, recalling the words of MatPat that I think I mentioned every single week I mention this, is you want to balance making videos for your existing fans, videos for your new fans, and videos for yourself. Looking at these numbers gives us an idea of what Mythonics videos fall into which categories. And you know what, let's sort them out so we have a better idea for the future. Making it easy, almost every single Fear and Hunger video was for my existing audience. So that's Love and Torment, Logic, Update, Fear and Hunger 3, and Pocket Cat. Now, the secrets videos aren't. They're for me because they're fun and easy to make. Nocturnal Chronicles, Vermis, and Not Human were definitely to try and find a new audience. And Log Horror in 7 Days was intended to as well, but it bombed so hard, so that's going in the For Me pile. Actually, Love and Torment should be in the For Me pile as well, because when I made that, it was pretty much for me. So in general, Fear and Hunger lore and news videos are for existing viewers, which generally tracks with the new viewers' numbers. They usually don't get that many new viewers. Experimental videos covering other media are for new viewers, but the problem is that I haven't doubled down on any of them. So if someone found me for my Nocturnal Chronicles or Not a Human video, well, they've really only had Fear and Hunger content to watch since then. And if they don't like Fear and Hunger, then I've lost a viewer. Going forward, I will be doubling down on my successful experiments, which means that the videos for existing viewers will change because my existing viewers will change. A YouTube channel really is like a living project. It evolves, right? And it's supposed to. You can't just make videos for the same people over and over again, because their tastes change as well, you know? There's a lot of people that I know personally that were into Fear and Hunger, like super into it, and they just drop off and move away. That just happens. And finally, the videos for me are the ones that are easy and fun to make and still get, you know, a certain amount of views. The views aren't the focus for them. The minimal amount of views that I would consider successful is pretty low for those, and I don't mind if they don't do well. I am still pretty cut about analog horror in 7 days. And so I'm not going to go silly with those videos, right? I'm not just going to do random stuff. I'm still going to try and keep it on track. But if they only get half the views of my big stuff, that's fine. It's not the end of the world, right? But I still do want to be experimental, and I think I will do more stuff in the vein of I made an analog horror in 7 days, because I did enjoy how experimental that was. But I will try and pick stuff that people will still be interested in watching. There's no point in making something if nobody wants to watch it, right? All right, so let's look at my resolution list for last year. 100K views within a week of uploading, that failed. The only videos that hit 100K in a week were the video about the Terminator update and the law of no, I'm not a human, but which were both some of my most successful videos anyway. If counting 4 weeks, so 100K in 4 weeks, there were 5 out of 11 videos that did that, which is pretty good. Almost half. I want it better though, and we will do better in 2025. The final video of the year, Pocket Cat, didn't get there. Unfortunately, it got just 85,000 views, which it's close, but you know, we're going to hit 100K with each video next year. It's going to do it. It's a promise. We're doing it. Now, next, 1 million views on a new video. I didn't expect to hit this one. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect this one. The Law of No, I'm Not a Human, which was released in late October, cleaned up, hitting 1 million in just over a month. I thought my first 1 million view video would be one of my older Law videos, like the Ending C video, because they kept ticking up because of that really long tail thing. And at the moment, it's like over 700,000, so it's getting there. But I'm not complaining. Like, you know, I'm definitely not complaining about how well that did, to be honest. Diversity in content. So diversity in content is the next one, and that's a little harder to quantify because I didn't quantify it. I had in my head about 1/3 of my videos as non-fear and hunger content as the goal. And this year, 4 out of 11 videos this year weren't fear and hunger related, which is just over 1/3. So yeah, I'd say I hit that one too. In future, my plan will be to cover more diverse topics, like I was talking about before. I genuinely love fear and hunger, and I will be forever thankful that it made my career. Like, there's no other way to say it. It made my career. But there's only so much you can cover, and people eventually burn out naturally. I expect that the upcoming update will be big for it, and if another big content creator covers it again, then it'll get a big boost. Like, I believe that Pyro Cynical is planning a Fear and Hunger video at some point, but I think he's been saying that for almost a year now, so we'll see. But you can't count on that because, you know, maybe Miro dies tomorrow, right? Maybe he just drops dead. Maybe a big content creators decide not to cover it. Maybe there's some drama. Miro's actually, I don't want to say anything too risky. maybe Miro's actually a really bad guy. He said he did some bad things, and nobody wants to touch the game anymore tomorrow, right? Maybe that comes out. Not that I think he did, but you know, hypothetically. So it's good to not just rely on a single game for your success. It's really, really bad to rely on a single game for your success. So, and in general, I do just want to cover other things, right? Like I said, I love the games, but there's a lot more out there that I also love. And I'm going to be branching out a lot more. And honestly, until the update comes out, I'm going to ease right up on Fear and Hunger content. I was planning a video on it, but I think I might leave it until the update. Unless the update doesn't come out for like another 6 months, then I'll probably have a few more. But it's going to be a couple months before I do another Fear and Hunger video, I think. No promises, but that's sort of where I'm at the moment. When the update does come out though, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to do like 10 Fear and Hunger videos in a row. I'm going to make up for it. Next on the list was 100 patrons. I got nowhere near that. I have 23 patrons right now. Patron count goes up when I drop bangers and slowly ticks down when I don't. So this one's entirely my fault. Actually, all the resolutions I only chose resolutions that were entirely in my control. Well, 95% in my control, right? This low number of patrons is simply because I only post 11 videos. Post more videos, get more patrons. Shrimple. And look, it feels a bit disrespectful to my actual patrons when I take so long to make a video, and I'm pretty ashamed about that, to be perfectly honest. That's one of the main reasons I started weekly updates. I started writing them first, and then I started doing videos because I just enjoy making videos. And I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop that I usually am working, and when I'm not working, it has been because of illness. But again, that's not gonna be stopping me from now on. So making more videos, like main channel videos, not the updates, making more main channel videos will solve this problem, this patrons, to hit 100 patrons. And all of my problems really do come down to make more content. That's all of my problems is make more content, problems go away. Next, 10% CTR. CTR is, of course, click-through rate, as in what percentage of people who saw your thumbnail clicked it. It's always pretty low, and when it's high, then in general, the higher the CTR is, the more likely YouTube is to recommend that video, and then eventually it'll get to a point where the number just goes down. That's a really, really rough grain. Take that with a grain of salt. There's a lot more to it than that, but in general, your CTR will generally go down. 10% is pretty high. That goal of 10% is pretty high, and it depends on a lot of factors. My average is 4.5 CTR, which is definitely a lot lower than I'd like. Thumbnails are tricky, and it's pretty clear that I have more work to do. Thumbnails and titles. It's thumbnail and title. Thumbnail is more important, but title is as well. The lowest is, again, unsurprisingly, I made an analog horror in 7 days. Very low interest in that idea in general, but a better thumbnail would definitely help, to the point where I should have thought about this a while ago. I'm considering making a new thumbnail for it and doing some tests and seeing how we go. I don't know. I think it's because it's so far out of my ballpark that I think I just made a bad thumbnail for it, and maybe and probably a bad title too. So maybe I'll poke at that and see if we can get some numbers on it. But YouTube doesn't naturally promote videos that are older, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. If I can't figure it out in like half an hour, then I'm not gonna bother. The highest click-through rate was Fear and Hunger 3, which is very interesting, because it had a very low, I think it had my lowest viewers percent, I think. Yeah, it had at the end of the 4 weeks, it had the lowest view percent, view average, because people weren't expecting what was in the video. And that's pretty much my fault. I'll talk about it in a sec. Not going to talk about it now. So my goal of 80% retention was genuinely insane. 80% is, you don't get it. 60% is extremely good. My average is 35, which isn't bad, but it could be a lot better. Weirdly, my highest retention of 55% was on one of my worst performing videos. That's Love and Torment. It also had a pretty high CTR for my channel. So what happened to Love and Torment? Had really low views, but good stats. That's weird. I'm going to have to do a dive on that one, see what happened there. So secrets videos generally have good retention because list videos always do. So you remember back in the day when the internet was like 90% websites making lists about stuff? That's because people just like reading lists. They have to know what's on each entry in the list. They just have to. And that's why people make, 5 secrets of whatever. Fear and Hunger 3 had low retention because people really didn't like watching a description of the Twilight movie for some reason. I thought it would be fun, but people weren't interested, and that's completely fair. That's on me. It shouldn't have been that thorough. I tried to cut it down as much as I could, but I could have cut it down a lot more. A lot of people actually commented that. They were like, what is going on? Why is this a video about Twilight? I thought it was going to be about Fear and Hunger 3. The update video had good retention, and I think it because it had a similar effect to the list. You know that there's going to be a certain amount of information that's going to be covered, so you don't want to miss it. And especially like if it's a game you love, and so seeing all these screenshots and what have you about it, it's really interesting, And you do just want to sit there and watch the whole thing. So it had really good retention because of that. Not Human, the Law of No, I'm Not a Human, had lower retention, which is interesting because it still performed really well. And the average CTR isn't that great. So that's I don't know if I've done a deep dive on why that one worked, but maybe I think we can figure it out with these numbers here though. And that's the new viewers category. So if you look over in the new viewers section, you'll see that No, I'm Not a Human had 53% of viewers were new viewers. So that's 500,000 people that were brand new viewers to my channel. No wonder YouTube juiced the hell out of that. So that's kind of crazy. And that's the same as almost all of my non-Fear and Hunger stuff. So that's Nocturnal Chronicles and Law of Vermis had very high new viewer percentages. Analog Horror didn't, but nobody wanted to watch that anyway. Okay, so that's 2 out of 6 goals hit. A 33% win rate. That's not good. That's not very good at all. We'll try 2 things for the next goals, right? One, I'm going to work harder and smarter from now on. I've said that 100 times. We're going to do that. No month-long gaps between videos. That's not allowed anymore. 2, we're going to make the goals a little more reasonable. I just threw out the first numbers that came to my head. 80% retention, that's crazy. So how about these? 100k views on each video within a week of uploading. That's a solid goal, and I think within reach, especially when I upload more frequently. 1 million views on a new video. This is something in the short term that I don't think I can do it regularly. Like, I don't think I'm in a position where I can just drop 1 million view video every time. But I know that I can hit it, so it's staying on the list, but we're gonna up the notch. We're gonna up it a little bit. So we're gonna do 100 million views. We're gonna do 1 million views on 4 new videos. They can't be old videos. So I'm gonna have to work hard for that, but that's like every 3 months we get a 1 million view video. How's that sound? Diversity in content. I hit this goal from last time, but we'll push it further this year. Because I'm a bit cautious about Fear and Hunger's popularity, and I'm planning around it not being big enough to get good views by the end of the year. It will honestly probably last longer, especially with the update and whatnot, but that's my pessimistic plan around it. I think you have to be a bit pessimistic when planning for your career, you know. So the ideal amount of content diversity will be 100% by the end of the year. Of course, that depends on a lot of things. Who knows? You know, again, maybe some massive content creator will bring in an entirely new audience and what have you. But when looking back over the whole year, so how about this? We'll aim for 50% non-Fear and Hunger content, 50-50 Fear and Hunger and anything else. That allows for a big burst of Fear and Hunger related videos when the update comes out. And that also gives me lots of leg room for covering other things. Honestly, I've got a lot of ideas for things I want to talk about when the update comes out, and I don't even know what's in there yet. 100 patrons. We'll keep that goal. I think I can hit it by smashing out good videos. I have been wondering if I need to change around my Patreon offerings. Maybe there's something more attractive I could be doing. The issue is exclusive content is risky and time consuming. It's something to think about. If I do an experimental video like I made an analog horror in 7 days and I think it's gonna bomb, I might just eat the 2-week loss and then put it as a Patreon exclusive. But I'm always pretty confident in my videos anyway. I'm probably too confident. We'll see. I'll think about it. 10% CTR. I'll keep this goal too. It's high, but it's reachable. So I always play whack-a-mole with like the worst things that are happening, the worst parts of my content. And at the moment, it's pretty clear that my thumbnails and titles are starting to pop up as being problems. So I'm going to focus on that next. 80% retention is pretty high. And even if it wasn't, it's out of reach for now. So let's lower it to 50%, which is pretty high, but I've hit 50% before. It's not common. Like I've got 2 videos that are close to it. Deepest Secrets of Fear and Hunger and Secrets of them. Oh, they're both secrets videos. And Love and Torment. 50. Well, I can hit 50, so I can do it. But that's kind of cheating. We'll aim for it, and then when we lose, we'll learn. We'll learn things. That's the point, right? You make goals that you think you will still lose, but almost within reach, you know, like a carrot on a stick. So are there any new goals I want to add? I don't think so. I'm pretty happy with those. I think they cover all of the bases. That and no, yes, I do want to. In my last video, I discussed setting strict deadlines for myself. I'm going to do that with every video going forward from now on. So I'm going to set a cap on the rough draft of a video. So the rough draft includes coming up with an idea, researching, doing a script outline, writing the script, recording the gameplay footage. So recording the gameplay footage comes before writing the script, recording the voiceover, and laying down the tracks in editor, and then laying down rough music, And that will be, so that will be 1 week. I have 1 week to do that for each video. Plus a couple of extra days if needed, because sometimes I need to organize art or get extra voiceovers, or sometimes things are just a bit more complicated. Like with God Husk, I needed extra. If I was to sit down and write it now, it would be a bad video, because God Husk is an incredibly complicated book. It is so complicated. It doesn't seem like it is, but it super is. And because I gave myself extra time for that, it's going to be a better video. So sometimes I will give myself extra time for videos, but in general, it will be 1 week. And then after that, 1 week for actually finish the video. So take that rough draft and then turn it into the final video for an extra week. So that's 2 weeks per video. That's pretty tight compared to my usual deadlines of the video is done when it's done. But that's the point. I'm going to work so hard, and you're going to have so many Mythonics videos that you won't be able to watch them all. Another goal is I would like to do weekly update videos like this every week. And I've been fairly consistent with that ever since I started, but I have missed some weeks, and I would like to guaranteed have a video out, have an update video out every week is what I would like to do for the year. I think that's my goal. And it might mean I end up talking about some odd subjects, but I think that's kind of the point. It's kind of, this isn't quite a commentary channel, but if it dips into commentary, I'm not worried if we do. So when I start streaming again, and I don't have a deadline for that, but when I start streaming again, I would like to keep my previous goal that it was sort of like an internal goal. So I would try and upload 5 second channel videos a week that were highlights from my stream. So that was like, I would play 4 indie games and then I would react to some analog horror or web horror series. So that would hit 5 videos a week. Sometimes extra, depending if I had really short games, right? And that wasn't hard to hit. And I was enjoying doing that. The second channel was actually starting to get a little momentum before my chronic internet issues started. I had hit, it was about $100 revenue per month, which isn't much, but it was growing. The thing, it was going up when I had to stop streaming, because I remember looking at it. And well, I say chronic internet issues, it was actually sabotage, but that's a story for another day. Okay, so this is a list of goals. What do you guys think? Does this look like a good list? I'm pretty happy with this list. There's probably more I can think of, but I'm happy with these. If I hit these goals, or if I at least try really hard to hit these goals, I think my channel is going to be in a much better spot. Even in like 3 months, if I try hard at these goals, the channel is going to be in a much better spot than it was last year. So I'm confident with these goals. But what do you guys think? Do you guys have your own goals? What are your goals for the new year? Let me know. Tell me. Juicy algo by commenting. But yes, I do want to say thank you guys very much for 2024. It was a rough year for me, no lie. And one day I'll be able to tell that story, but I can't quite yet. It was a pretty rough year, and you guys have been very supportive of me and my videos. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, and thank God. God was an endless source of inspiration for me and kept me going through some very dark days. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough. So thank you. And thank God. But yes, 2025 is going to be much better. 2025 is going to be the year of Mythonics. That's official, by the way. We've had governments come out and sign papers saying it's the year of Mythonics. We're gonna get Mythonics merch at some point too. I need to organize that. That's gonna be sick. Oh, I should do a cap. I reckon that'd be sick. Mythonics cap. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I've been your host, More Duke. Thank you for watching Mythonics. And remember, what was that dumb one I came up with? Remember, there's always some truth behind the myth. No, I can't say that. Remember, you're never alone in the dark. Yeah, well, I like that one.